and welcome to NTA News Top Table, where we treat news, views, previews and interviews with the extra touch of details. The next hour and a half will focus exclusively on Nigeria and Nigerians, the events, exploits, trends and challenges. Tonight, messages of peace, unity and tolerance resonate as Muslims mark Eid al-Maulud. On security, President Tinubu approves payment for 12 attack helicopters to aid Nigeria's fight against outlaws as the police launch early hour operation in forests. On transportation, we have reports on cities adopting special mass transit schemes to address current realities with varying degrees of success. We also have specials on an age-long means of transportation, rivers, the livelihoods, and community relation in riverine communities. Our interest will flow into health, agriculture, and technology sectors with unique insight into what has been fixed and what needs fixing. Let's run the shift together. After all, the taste of the pudding is in the eating. I'm Elizabeth Omori, and this is News Extra. We begin with security matters. President Bola Tinubu has approved payment for 12 attack helicopters for the Nigerian Army Aviation. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tarid Lagbaja, announced this at the maiden Nigerian Army Aviation Seminar in Abuja.
Dynamism in the nation's threat environment led to the commencement of the process of re-establishing the Nigerian Army Aviation. The Army Aviation is usually equipped with helicopters and fixed-wing aircraft to improve ground troops' agility and responsiveness while contributing to the success of a joint operation. So far, Army pilots, aircraft engineers, and other ground crew have been trained.
I'm again happy to announce that Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has approved payment for the initial 12 MD 530 Foxtrot KU's attack helicopters that will see to the operationalization of the Nigerian Army Aviation. I sincerely appreciate Mr. President for buying into this aspiration of the Nigerian Army and committing himself to making history by bringing it to pass.
As we draw inspiration from experiences of other nations that have excelled in the Army Aviation, we must adapt to their best practices to suit our own unique operational environment.
This maiden Nigerian Army Aviation Seminar is to deliberate on potential challenge and measures to ensure the success of the aviation. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the air component of Operation Udoka 2 has carried out several strikes on IPOB ESN locations at Mother Valley, Osomogo in Newu South local government area of Anambra State and at Aku Ihube in Okigwe local government area of Imo State. A statement by NAF says the strikes at both locations achieved their intended outcome following credible intelligence. The airstrikes were authorized in conjunction with ground troops and other security agencies at an IPOB hideout at Mother Valley, believed to also house weapons and ammunition. The strikes hit their target and were deemed successful following the balls of fire, fleeing terrorists at location, as well as feedback received. The airstrikes were also conducted in close coordination with surface forces at IPOB ESN hideout camps in Aku Uhube in Imo State after detailed analysis of intelligence on the terrorists converging for a likely rendezvous at their hideout. NAF says it will keep working with other security agencies to keep all Nigerians safe. And Yobe State Police Command has arrested a kingpin of a kidnapping syndicate operating around Potiskum Fune, and Nigerian local government areas of the state. In a statement, the command says the kidnappers were apprehended a day after abducting a 40-year-old woman and a 25-year-old son at Fune local government area. The statement adds that the kidnappers, after perpetrating the crime, later released the son and gave him an AK-47 to give to his uncle in order to scare and force him pay the sum of 7 million naira as ransom for his mother's release and another 5 million naira as soon as possible. The woman was taken to a farm in a nearby village where she was held hostage. The criminals met their Waterloo based on incredible information and swift action taken by the police operatives, which led to the arrest of the kingpin, while the 3 other members of the group fled but are now being trailed by the police. Still talking security, Bauchi State Police Commissioner Awal Musa Mohammed has launched an early hours undercover operation in the state. This is part of strategies put in place by the command to detect crimes and criminal hideouts within the forest. Abdullahi Aminu, who was part of the commissioner's team, has this report.
It could be recalled that last week, kidnapped victims were rescued by the Bauchi State Police Command with the help of other security operatives, vigilante, and local hunters. It is against this backdrop that the Commissioner of Police in Bauchi State, Awal Musa Mohammed, introduces this operation within the early hours of the day with the view to ensure safety of communities and arrest all other activities of crimes that are reported to be happening in the forest. I'm right here with the Commissioner of Police, Awal Musa Mohammed. Sir, prompted you to conduct this operation at this very early hour?
I've been here early morning is just to hear from the men that have been undergoing the operation since night. Through the night, so that they will have the confidence that we are backing them, that we are with them, and what we are only looking is positive advances that we can get in order to either neutralize or arrest these culprits so that people will live much in peace around this area. It's a gateway state. We have a lot of borders with almost 7 states, and some of these states are having serious issues of security problems. So we need to wake up and rise to the occasion, trying to effectively police our environment. The kidnapping that involved people, within 24 hours we are able to get them and eliminate those that can be eliminated and rescue all the kidnapped victims unhurt.
Will bring you further revelations or investigation by the State's Police Command. I'm Abdullahi Aminu, NTA News.
We do look forward for updates. Now, hit the ground running, a common phrase that has in recent times been used frequently to express readiness to carry out tasks with diligence and needed energy. In this report, National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali tells us how the 10th Senate has applied this within 2 months after its inauguration, having screened and confirmed more than 60 presidential appointees and some laws amended.
The life of the 10th Senate began with a new president in office.
The current administration has brought about the acronym of Renewed Hope. I want to assure Mr. President, we are here to do national duties.
This pronouncement by the president of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, sets the tone for unity of purpose between the 2 arms of government. The Senate was faced with the task of discharging mandates with what some may call the speed of light. Reason is to enable efficiency in governance as the federal government seeks immediate impact to the Nigerian situation. Little wonder it attended to executive requests expeditiously. Some notable legislative work carried out by the 10th Senate in less than 2 months from June 13th to the 8th of August when it commenced recess include screening and confirmation of service chiefs, screening and confirmation of ministers, and amending the supplementary budgets to provide 500 billion naira for palliatives due to fuel subsidy removal. It also passed several resolutions, key among which is the request on authorities to suspend the proposed increase of electricity tariff.
It's such a very serious issue because this goes to the root cause of production. It also goes to the root cause of employment. If we have to have employment opportunities, then our industries must function. And then the industries cannot function without electricity. Estimated billing. I think this must also be brought to an end.
We have passed a lot of motions also that have to do with the dilapidated nature of our roads in the country. We have passed a lot of motions that have to do with the security of the lives and properties of these citizens of this country.
Their expected priorities are targeted at further consolidating on the legacies of previous assemblies.
Legislative agenda of the 10th Senate. Gender matter, revisiting the women participation in politics and political positions. Youth development, very essential. Then electoral sanctity, functioning legislation.
We are going to embark upon one of our major constitutional responsibility of oversight on ministries, departments and agencies to see whether the 2023 Appropriation Act has been executed in accordance with the spirit and letters of the Appropriation Act.
Added to these are considerations of executive requests when transmitted from the National Assembly. Lami Ali, NTA News.
To electoral matters, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, reiterates its commitment to conduct free, fair and credible governorship election in Kogi State come November 11, 2023. Professor Kunle Ajayi, INEC National Commissioner and member, Information and Voter Education Committee, gave this assurance during a meeting with media executives in Lokoja. Solomon Aiden reports.
Recognizing the vital role of disseminating timely and accurate information in national growth and development, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has taken a practice step in the lead-up to the Kogi State governorship election. INEC has convened media executives in the state to bridge the information gap between the electoral body and the electorate with a specific focus on voter education. The INEC National Commissioner and member, Information and Voter Education Committee, Professor Kunle Ajayi, emphasized the critical partnership between the media and the electoral process. He revealed that 8 out of the 13 of INEC's work plans for the November polls have already been completed. He hinted at INEC's plans to conduct a mock election in designated polling units across the 3 senatorial districts of the state to test its machines and staff. Professor Ajayi also expressed concern about a significant challenge for the successful conduct of the November polls, the proliferation of fake news and misinformation.
Report INEC objectively. Report INEC based on data. Report INEC based on evidences, scientific evidences that you captured, not hearsay. For instance, do not release any result that is not announced officially by INEC.
He also paid a courtesy visit to the management of NTA Lokoja, seeking collaboration to fulfill INEC's mandate. In Lokoja, Solomon Ayedehi, NTA News.
And the national chairman of the governing All Progressives Congress, Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, has assured all party members of equal stake in the party. Dr. Ganduje was speaking when different chapters and groups of the APC paid him a solidarity visit at the party secretariat. Political correspondent Abubakar Kwanga reports.
Top on the chairman's call list were delegations from Bauchi, Taraba and Kano State, where issues on consolidation of parties' strength and unity appeared top-notch.
And I affirm to you our loyalty and support for the success of APC in Bauchi State. You know what APC is going through in Bauchi State is going to be over, inshallah.
On behalf of all our chairmen here, we rejoice with you and we are happy of all the people that have contributed for the success and victory of the election itself.
The national chairman of the governing All Progressives Congress, Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, appreciates the groups and pledged to always consult and make quality decisions that will foster integration of members and advance the party interest.
And inshallah, we welcome you to later on sit down together as a family so that we forget what happened in the past and open a new page.
The Rivers State chapter of the party also paid similar visit, led by its chieftain Peter Saida Kuku.
And I assure them that with the reforms that were undertaken in APC, they will be much and much closer to us. Also, we promise them for compensation, because since they don't have government, we look into their problems so that those party members who have worked for the party will be compensated adequately.
The group promised to always keep faith with the party and support the Ganduje-led National Working Committee for effective management of party's affairs. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
Away from political matters, the Association of Senior Civil Servants of Nigeria is urging workers whose names are among the 17,000 removed from the payroll of IPPIS but genuinely participated in the workers' verification exercise to show up with proof for reinstatement. President of the union, Tommy Etim Okon, says the union has engaged the office of the head of the civil service of the Federation to provide window for the exercise. Joseph Otsen reports.
Leadership of the Association of Senior Civil Servants of Nigeria brandishing documents said to have been secured from the office of the Accountant General of the Federation, indicating 17,000 federal civil servants are removed from payroll by IPPIS for allegedly not submitting themselves for verification exercise.
And the head of service have also given a window of 1 week to ensure that if you were verified genuinely on the online portal of IPPIS, that you submit the scanned copy to the email that has been provided.
Following engagement with the union for clarification, Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation is said to be concerned and has set up a committee to address the issue, with those within Abuja expected to submit their documents to it.
And for those who may not see their salary, just be patient, because there's also a window for supplementary salary for the month of September. But for October, the needful has to be done.
The verification exercise is conducted at specific times or year to ascertain genuine workers, after some must have passed away, others left the service, and some newly employed. In Abuja, Joseph Utsen, NTA News.
Community empowerment, investment in renewable energy and digitization are some of the key areas targeted towards development of the tourism sector in Nigeria. This was contained in a message from the Minister of Tourism, Lola Adejohn, as Nigeria joins the global community to commemorate World Tourism Day with the theme Tourism and Green Investment. Ekemin Williams reports.
The Federal Ministry of Tourism marked the 2023 World Tourism Day celebration with a variety of activities, including a road walk, cultural performances, and keynote addresses. The Minister of Tourism, Lola Adejohn, who was represented by the Director General, National Institute for Hospitality and Tourism, Alhaji Nura Kaigiwa, emphasized that tourism products require adequate publicity development, maintenance, and promotion, and pointed out 4 key areas that will be targeted for the growth and development of the country's tourism sector, including digitization, investment in renewable energy, and community empowerment.
There are a few key points to note for the growth and development of tourism in Nigeria on this day. 1. Community empowerment. Sustainable tourism empowers local communities through education, skills development, job creation, and supporting small businesses.
It has been an eventful celebration because this is the first time the ministry, as a new ministry, is celebrating the World Tourism Day. So it is actually something worth celebrating.
The event was graced by distinguished guests and stakeholders, including representatives from the United Nations World Tourism Organization, Nigerian Tourism Development Corporation, figures from travel agencies, tour operators, and senior officials from the Ministry of Tourism. In Abuja, Ekemini Williams, NTA News.
And the sector is said to hold the potential to generate billions of naira and can serve as a foreign exchange earner for Nigeria. But the question is, how well is this sector being harnessed? As the World Tourism Day is marked, Gabriel Amunike in this report evaluates the benefits inherent in the sector and how it can be maximized, particularly as this year's theme centers on tourism and green investment.
When tourism is mentioned, what readily comes to mind is traveling to places of interest for relaxation. But of course, tourism transcends traveling.
Beyond travel, everybody who is even in the travel business, they do more outbound. That's where they make their money, because incentivizations come from the countries that are willing to bring people over to their places.
Rivers State has nearly 1,000 kilometers of coastline with numerous rivers flowing from the hinterland. The state is a tourist haven with its rich biodiversity streaming from high rainforests, swamp, coastline barriers, reef. A visit to some tourist site in Port Harcourt shows that the places are scarcely in good use.
People used to come from Lagos, different states, to come and sit out for Port Harcourt tourism. But now nothing is happening. So we are calling on the Rivers State government to at least enable us. Like we used to go to Pleasure Park. This place is more beautiful than Pleasure Park because this is natural water. Look at the environment. People used to the fresh air.
While interacting with some tourism experts, some of them harped on the need for government at all levels to explore opportunities in tourism and make tourist sites within their domains functional.
They need to build small little resorts, right? They need to cut down or change policies, I'll say, because I know the private sector, they have private people that want to come and build, and more people will come. So maybe the government needs to look into these areas and revamp, like the zoo. You know, the zoo doesn't exist anymore.
If we have to deal with what the World Tourism Day is for 2023, which is green investment, you see that those waterfronts and waterways are littered. Being able to clear the waterfront is one step forward to getting there.
As this year's observance is being marked, Nigerians are optimistic that existing and potential tourist sites across the country will be harnessed as a major revenue earner. In Port Harcourt, Gabriel Amunike, NTA News.
And joining us to discuss the World Tourism Day and issues surrounding the sector in Nigeria is Chikeze Oswagu, a nature and heritage tourism researcher, and he joins us via Zoom. Mr. Chikeze, thank you so much for joining us on News Extra.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's strengthen. Thank you so much. Now let's strengthen the conversation on this year's theme. Tourism investments in a green future. How to bring this together to harness the benefits?
Okay, thank you very much. The theme for this year is tourism and green investments. It brings about the intersection of two very important aspects of tourism, which is tourism aspect itself and then the investment, the environment, making people realize that tourism is an economic activity and you can generate revenue from it. You can grow economies, you can develop economies. While the environmental aspect of it is that you do all these things without harming the environment. So whatever you do, the theme says that whatever you do from this year forward, you should make sure the environment is not harmed. protect the environment, preserve the environment, do all the things that are necessary to keep this environment alive and growing.
Okay, you know, domestically, Mr. Chikize, domestically, many consider this sector a sleeping giant. Why is this so?
I didn't get that, please.
Domestically, many consider this particular sector a sleeping giant. Why is this so?
Okay, yes, I don't blame people who think that way, because a lot of people go outside Nigeria to have recreation, enjoy themselves, have their vacations, holidays. Meanwhile, there is so much in this country that even foreigners look at it and say, you've got so much here, why are you not developing? So the onus lies on all the stakeholders. It's not just government, it's the private sector, the NGOs, the security forces, even the foreigners coming together to chart a course for the development of this industry. We've got so much to show the world. Even if we emphasize on domestic tourism, moving from the north to the south, from the south to the west to the east, we've got so much. Our population is a very big potential for us. We've got over 220 people. If 10-20% of these people move around this country, we are going to generate a lot of revenue. People are going to invest, people are going to benefit. There's so many hotels coming up, there are so many resorts coming up, there are so much products and services that we can benefit from, providing the services, providing these products to people, even within our country. By the time we make this industry grow, develop, the foreigners will come here. We don't even need to go and market to them. By the time they see it growing, they have no reason but to come. I remember sometime about 10 years ago, we hosted a group of people coming to watch butterflies in Nigeria. And the leader of the team from Europe, a professor, told me that this first night in Nigeria was his first most exciting night in 20 years of watching butterflies. We recently discovered 18 monkey colonies, monkey habitats in Imo State. Initially, there were just 4 documented. Now we've got about 18, and I cannot say that's all, because based on the resources we had in that research, that's what we found out.
Okay.
We've got stretches and stretches of coastlines down from Calabar, from Cross River up to Lagos State. There are coastlines. There's so much to.
All right, Mr. Chikize, quickly, let me ask you, because you are a nature and heritage researcher, what are the hanging fruits we can pluck from this sector, this non-oil sector? Quickly.
Did you say low-hanging fruits?
Yes.
There are so much low-hanging fruits. The traditional dances, the cultural dances in my village are so exciting that people come to watch. And we're just doing the same thing we've done all along. It's only about packaging it, giving times, specifying the times, and marketing it to other people, and then aligning with hotels and transporters, telling them that this is when we want to do this thing, preparing very good brochures for us to market them. Okay, the other things that we can market, even if the markets where you sell adire in Abuja, all these things, people do tours of all those places. These are low-hanging fruits. Why, when people talk about low-hanging fruits, it seems as if it's out of the blues. It's not. It's something we are doing here. All the resources we have, the lakes, the mountains, the rivers, Udukato Ranch, Mambila Plateau, so many places. They are all there for us.
We do have beautiful sites. All right, Mr. Chikize, I'm sorry, this is the much I can take from you. Thank you so much for your time. We do appreciate your thoughts.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Happy World Tourism Day.
Thank you. A bit on religious matters now. Eid al-Maulud is a day set aside to honor the birth of the Holy Prophet of Islam. As Muslims across the world commemorate the day, Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, urges Muslims and all Nigerians to imbibe virtues of charity, forgiveness, and patriotism, which he says are necessary to promote peace and progress in the country. Tope Alabi in this special report examines the significance of the day to the Muslim Ummah.
Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was born on a Monday, the 12th day of Rabiul Awwal, a day that represents the symbol of faith in Islam.
All good things which we are practicing, he brought it to us.
According to Islamic history and traditions, what the Prophet did was to fast on Mondays to mark his birthday and on Thursdays as the day he was called to prophethood.
Indeed, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to be passionate on anybody who wants to ridicule a black man among them. Because there are black men among his companions, especially Bilal. In fact, he encouraged Sayyidina Abu Bakr to emancipate Bilal from slavery.
He was caring for the women. He taught everyone to relate with one another the way we should, with compassion, with love, with care, with justice. But unfortunately these days, that is not what we see.
This is the best time for us to demonstrate the qualities and teachings of the Prophet ﷺ so that our nation will be greater and greater.
While the day is not like the other celebrations in Islam, clerics encouraged Muslim faithful to spread the virtues of the Holy Prophet Muhammad on the day, especially the message of love, peace, togetherness, forgiveness, perseverance, and nation building. Tope Alabi, NTA News.
And the tenets of Islam should be the watchword. The chairman of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, Abike Dabiri-Erewa, congratulates two Nigerians, Chinenye Owumike and Osage Imasoge, for being nominated into the Advisory Council on Africa Diaspora Engagement by President of the United States of America, Joe Biden. In a statement by the Commission's head of media and public relations, Abdurrahman Balogun, the NIDCOM boss describes the recognition and appointments into the 12-member Advisory Council as a motivation for other Nigerians and Africans in general. Chinenye Owumike is a 2021 Forbes 30 under 30 honoree and one of the only full-time professional athletes to currently hold a full-time regular national sports media broadcast position, while Osage Imasoge is the chairman of the Investment Bank and Secretary, FINRA, registered broker-dealer, Coin Capital and Coin Advisors, an entrepreneur and investor who is serving on the board of a number of financial institutions. You're still watching News Extra. Let's take a breather. More reports ahead. To stay with us. You're still watching News Extra. Now we begin this segment with environment and pollution matters. Some beaches, water bodies and waterfalls in Nigeria have been found to be convenient spots for substance abuse and open defecation. Charles Alpha reports that they have been marked as intervention areas by Operation Clean Our Environment campaign of the Center for Culture and Environment Promotion in collaboration with the National Environmental Standards and Regulation Enforcement Agency, NESRA.
Beach cleanups, beating plastic pollution and open defecation. To restore the ecosystem are challenges the National Environmental Standards and Regulation Enforcement Agency and partners are prepared to take on headlong. They have identified the Tiga Dam in Kano, Patigi Beach in Kwara State, Aso and Kura Falls in Plateau, among some of the water bodies and beaches in Nigeria, earmarked for cleanup by the Operation Clean Up Our Beaches campaign by the Center for Culture and Environment Promotion. Some of these locations are regarded as harbors for plastic, which is posing great threats to underwater life and that of human.
We believe that ensuring that our beaches are clean and also free from open defecation and drug will also help to attract more tourists and, of course, it will ensure that it will create jobs.
As part of efforts to clean these areas and attract tourists, Nesria will be providing support on environmental cleanliness for the center.
We need to clean them. If you travel and go to other countries, they generate a lot of revenue from tourism because they develop their beaches.
The project is designed to have positive impact on the Sustainable Development Goals on poverty reduction, water and sanitation, decent work, economic growth and climate change, as well as the SDG goal on partnerships. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
Now, rivers and streams in Nigeria are rich in natural resources that could be harnessed for agricultural purposes, food security, and its value chain. At this year's global event to mark World Rivers Day, stakeholders in Owerri, the Imo State capital, are advocating enactment of enabling laws to protect unhealthy activities and pollution that the rivers have been experiencing in recent times. Beatrice Anyim reports.
Water, no doubt, is life, but the activities of man in the recent times seem not to be friendly to the existence and preservation of waterways. Hence this gathering of stakeholders, including school children, who are here to chart a way forward on protection of rivers. The program, which is part of activities to mark the 2023 World Rivers Day, is at the instance of the Anambra Imo River Basin Development Authority, Owerri, in line with the theme of this year's celebration, which is Right of Rivers. Experts are of the view that for the development initiatives that rely on water to thrive, especially water supply and agriculture, the rights of the rivers should be preserved. The Managing Director of Anambra Imo River Basin Development Authority, Owerri, Gerard Usagu, says the event is also aimed at creating more public awareness on the importance of rivers to the well-being of man.
Polluting the river is something that should never be encouraged because it will lead to catastrophe, not only now but even in the future. If you go back to your villages, you see that some of the streams, rivers that used to exist, some of them due to environmental degradation, erosion, and all such activities have gone into extinction. The present climate change has not spared the rivers also.
I never knew that river have rights, so through this program it has helped me to understand that river have rights.
We learn a lot how to protect our river, and we know we do it, and we have been doing it. An exercise to encourage behavioral change towards the sustenance of rivers and tree planting was symbolized at the Oramirokwa River. In Owerri, Beatrice Anyim, NTA News.
I do agree with one of the respondents. We need to stop polluting our waters. Riverine communities in Anambra East and West local government areas of Anambra State who provide farm produce in large quantities have requested the provision of basic amenities to make their lives better. Franklin Onyekachi visited the communities and captured their daily routine.
Life in the riverine communities is a very simple one. The people are very close to nature and enjoy the benefits such as availability of fresh fruits and vegetables. The people are mainly fishermen and farmers, and they buy and sell their produce on traditional Igbo market days, which are Nkwo, Eke, Oye, and Afo. This is Nkwo Nneyo Muleri. It is popular for the sale of cassava products locally known as Akpu and other local foods, such as yam, potatoes, and fish. The market enjoys patronage from far and near.
Come here to buy cassava, Akpu, and other foodstuffs, local foodstuffs. So at least they are trying in cassava cultivation and other things.
We started the market with cassava business. After the cassava business, other ones started coming. Clothes, vegetables, many.
Otuoda Umuezanam in Anambra West local government area is a hub of activity, and they have one most important mode of transportation.
Their mode of transportation is the use of the canoe. Here is a transit point between Umuezanam and Umuobanam.
What happens in a case of emergency since the people do not wear life jackets?
If it capsizes as someone that is come from this place, with God's help, I can find a way.
The people say the government can make their lives better by ensuring the use of safety gadgets, provision of pipe-borne water, accessible roads, and other basic amenities to encourage their contribution to the food supply in the state and neighboring states. From Umeza Nam, in Anambra West local government area of Anambra State, Franklin Onyekachi, reporting for News Extra.
Thank you for that report, and I hope the state government will swing into action. In this digital age, everything, including connections and relationships, have been engaged through online platforms. With the advent of artificial intelligence, your guess as to how our lives will be is as good as mine. Francis Form in this report takes a look at recent cases of sexual extortions, cyberbullying, character defamation, and blackmail, serve as stark reminders on the need for caution while navigating the world of online relationships.
Online dating, an application that enables people to meet for a date and possibly a lasting relationship. While dating used to be about falling in love and hopefully getting married, this no longer seems to be the case for the younger generation. Hookup culture, catfishing, stalking, sexually transmitted diseases, sexual assault are all risks in modern-day dating. Most people have heard of some potential risk of online dating, but few have heard of romance fraud known as sextortion. In simple terms, sextortion is a blackmail. Sextortion occurs when an abuser threatens to expose sexual photographs or videos of the victim in exchange for whatever the attacker wants. The incident in question here involves a complainant who, like many, sought companionship through a dating app. After months of communication, he agreed to meet a young lady who insisted on visiting his home. Their encounter resulted in consensual activities. Little did he know that his trust will be betrayed in a most evasive manner.
So what the lady, ended up in doing was to send the man's nude picture, nude video to him, and the man was shocked. But one important thing I want us to note in the action of this particular suspect is that not only sending the nude picture, she went further, to profile the victim.
Upon the complainant's courageous decision to report this to the Police National Cybercrime Center, investigators took swift action, leading to the arrest of the perpetrator.
Apart from that victim in particular, when we did extraction on her phone, we discovered other victims, other men, elderly men that she recorded their nude. And of course, she'll be demanding money from the victims. So it's actually important for us to be, very aware of whatever thing that we're doing.
To protect one's self from the potential threats, the police offers some guidelines.
If you meet someone online, you don't need to take the person to your house. If you take the person to your house, you're taking a very big risk. You're exposing yourself, you're exposing your family, you're exposing a whole lot about you.
The Nigeria Police Force says it remains committed to protecting the safety and dignity of all citizens, while assuring that it will continue to investigate and prosecute those who engage in such reprehensible acts to the fullest extent of the law. Francis Form, NTA News.
Thank you, Francis, for the expose. Recommendations from the first National Conference on Quality Opportunity for Access to Higher Education in Nigeria include increased provision of quality disability support services and funding for infrastructural development to promote education at the basic level. These key players in the education sector say will reduce challenges encountered by people living with disabilities in the course of their educational pursuits. Olayin Kauju brings us details.
Concerned with the plights faced by people with disability, particularly in the education sector, this gathering for 2 days had 9 plenary sessions, taking critical look at the experiences of people with disability, the role of stakeholders in ensuring equal opportunities, and steps that need to be taken to surmount challenges experienced during the conduct of UTME, with the intent of availing the opportunity and rights that will enable them attain their full potential.
Issues of persons with disability in the education sector is a challenge, but it's a challenge that presents an opportunity.
Comfort Eko is a graduate of theatre and film arts from the University of Jos. In spite of being visually impaired and the challenges faced while in school, she never allowed them impede on her pursuit for success, but not without an appeal.
Integrate disability studies into the GST courses, because we graduate more than 1 million students every year in Nigeria. So that means we're having 1 million people who are disability aware.
Corroborating Comfort's appeal, the number one advocate for equal opportunity to quality education, Professor Isha Koloide, due consultation and suggestions from different quarters, appealed for the incorporation of sign language into general studies curriculum across tertiary institutions.
Anybody who already has his 5 credits already, not awaiting result, and he belongs to the group of persons with disability, we will also give free UTME form from next exam.
Accessible learning infrastructure and establishment of special colleges of education in the 6 geopolitical zones of the country is noted as key components that will increase enrollment.
There is a need to have what we call a disability support office in all the tertiary institutions.
Please, implementation is critical. So by next year, when we are looking at the strategy document, we'll all say that, okay, 70% done, okay, 50%.
The conference, which had in attendance heads of all tertiary institutions in the country, was organized by the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board Equal Opportunity Group. Olainka Ojo, NTA News.
That's indeed good news for the disability community in Nigeria. Now, a non-governmental organization, the Youth and Civil Society Coalition for Development, in collaboration with the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, and the Universal Basic Education, have flagged off training of 100 mathematics teachers in Jigawa State to expose them to a modern teaching approach. The initiative is aimed at addressing challenges in teaching and learning mathematics in primary and secondary schools in Jigawa State. Ibrahim Sani reports.
The initiative perhaps is born out of the desire to equip teachers with methodologies of teaching mathematics, being one of the subject of great value and being one of the requisites for obtaining admission into university education in the country.
Our teachers acquire the necessary training they deserve, because learning is a continuous process.
Available records show that the performance of students in this subject continue to remain unimpressive over the years, hence the need to change the narrative.
Our younger ones, they are not good in doing mathematics, and if you want them to be apt, you have to at least encourage their teachers, teach their teachers with new modern techniques.
This effort, however, seeks to expose teachers to advance, simple and research-based approach to teaching mathematics, which Youth and Civil Society Coalition for Development.
NTA, being one of the establishment of federal government, it attaches greater importance to training and retraining. That is why when this invitation went to the DG, Director General, he said that I should come and represent him because he likes training.
This training is very, very important to we participants because we learn a lot, and when we will go back to our schools, we will sit with our remaining teachers of mathematics.
5-day training is expected to transform the teachers from using ineffective mathematics teaching approach to a more result-oriented techniques. In Dulce, Ibrahim Sani, NTA News.
The Oba of Benin, Ewa II, has advised political leaders in the country to always remember that the purpose for which they were elected or appointed into political offices is to serve the people. The Benin monarch gave the advice when he received Kenneth Imaswagon of Labour Party in his palace.
Kenneth Emasogban, popularly known as the Rice Man, was accompanied to the palace by his supporters and some members of Labour Party in the state. His visit to the revered royal father is to inform him of his desire to be the next governor of the state in 2024.
Of this kind of visit. Your Royal Majesty, I cannot go outside to say I want to run for the office of Edo State. You must first come in to inform His Royal Majesty.
In his usual fatherly disposition, Oba Ewa II prayed for Kenneth Emasogban and encouraged him to continue with his consultations across the state.
I will pray quietly, silently to God who will give us the man, He will give us the man that will truly respect the people, respect the people's wishes, look after the masses, put food on the table of the masses.
In Benin, Jude Abugu, NTA News.
Nigeria's Justice Emmanuel Fagbenle, who served as the Chief Justice of the Gambia for 6 years, has been conferred with the Kwame Nkrumah Outstanding Merit Award for diligent service. The international jurist was honored for his numerous contributions to jurisprudence on the continent. Olabode Arewa reports.
He bestowed the judicial firmament in Nigeria, Ghana and the Gambia, dispensing justice with courage and uncommon depth, particularly in the Gambia, where he rose through the ranks to become the Chief Justice of the West African nation, in recognition of some landmark judgments he delivered to stabilize the political environment. While in Gambia, the Kwame Nkrumah Foundation bestowed the prestigious award on the Nigerian-born judge, an award usually bestowed on individuals with outstanding records of public service.
The reason for this award is the courage with which he stood. He stood his ground, declining to succumb to the President Jammeh's pressure to obtain his election defeat. He stood his ground.
When people are willing, when people are focused, when people know where they are going, many of the challenges that we are talking about will dissipate in no time.
The event also provided an opportunity for intellectuals to proffer solutions to the challenges of leadership required to move the African continent forward in spite of some obvious hurdles.
Good works are like smoke, which can neither be concealed nor repressed.
There is character, which we call integrity, which management experts call motivation, which sociologists call willingness to do.
Justice Fagbenle was one of the Nigerians seconded to Gambia under the bilateral legal services agreement between her and Nigeria. In Abuja, Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
You're still watching News Extra on NTA. When we return, it will continue with business news. Thanks for staying with us. Stakeholders in the business sector have commended President Bola Tinubu for appointing Dr. Jumoke Oduwole as special advisor to the President and Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council and Investment. The group notes that the appointment signals his commitment to continuity in enhancing the business environment in Nigeria. The senior lecturer in international law at the University of Lagos, who held the position in the previous administration, is one of the 8 whose appointments were announced on Monday. Dr. Oduwole's portfolio has been expanded with the addition of investment to her duties, which she will continue to discharge in the office of the Vice President Kashim Shettima. She will also continue to serve as Secretary to the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, which is chaired by the Vice President. Her appointment was hailed by investors, economic experts, and other key stakeholders. A Kano-based investor, Mohammed Abdullahi, said the appointment shows Mr. President's adherence to the principle of continuity, considering Dr. Oduwole's excellent performance. Pebek was one of the shining lights of the previous administration. Another investor, Herbert Ibekwe, an importer, said Nigeria has become a better place for investment, with state government and relevant agencies of the federal government competing to improve their activities to make the environment for business friendlier to investors. Dr. Oduwole holds an LLB from University of Lagos, after which she was called to the Nigerian bar. She also has LLM from Cambridge University, amongst other academic and professional qualifications. And the Senior Special Assistant to the President on National Assembly Matters, Senate, Senator Abdullahi Gumel, says the choice of Cardoso and the 4 others as new management team of the CBN, as appointed by President Tinubu, aims to rescue the economy. In a statement, Senator Gumel commends the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, and other lawmakers for screening and confirming the appointments on the first day after resumption from recess. He expresses the hope that other appointments appointed by the President while the National Assembly was on recess would be screened and confirmed soon by the Senate. More comprehensive details of this will come subsequently. And it's now time to join our busy businessman, Benny Adams, for some business reports.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And still talks on the economy, with the belief that a healthy and vibrant workforce is key to productivity and economic growth. The Nigerian Economic Summit Group and our partners, CISLAC and eHealth Africa, have embarked on advocacy to raise awareness on the importance of micronutrient deficiency and advise on effective strategies for addressing it. This is as data from the United Nations Food Systems put hidden cost of food at estimated $20 trillion, and of which $11 trillion is related to poor health outcomes and $7 trillion to environmental cost. In view of these, economists at the Nigerian Economic Summit Group insist that fortification is among the most cost-effective investment in national economic development. They conclude that strengthening the enforcement of food fortification regulations, monitoring food production and distribution in real time, and providing education on eating well, in addition to periodic health checks, will go a long way in creating a more productive workforce for economic growth. And now, as Nigeria celebrates World Tourism Day ahead of Independence celebration in faraway Macau, one of China's 2 administrative provinces, it is already a beehive of activities, as hoteliers are already smiling to the bank ahead of the mainland's 8-day National Day Golden Week holiday. The Tourism Office had previously expected daily visitor arrivals to reach 100,000 during this period. Currently, the Macau Travel Industry Council reports that hotel occupancy rates have already reached the 70 to 80% rates. Both Nigeria and China celebrates October 1st as their national days. And now a quick look at the markets. European markets were mixed Wednesday as investors continue to assess inflation, interest rates, and the health of the global economy, just as South Africa and Ghana closed the day's trading session positive, while Nigeria, among others, were closed in commemoration of Eid al-Maulud celebration. Let's take a look. Well, that is business. News Extra continues with Elizabeth.
Thank you, Benny, and nice doing business with you. There is no doubt that Nigerian farmers are waxing stronger in meeting the food needs of the country. What needs to be addressed are therefore bottlenecks in the line of delivery of hibiscus flower for exports. Abdullahi Mohammed was at one of Nigeria's popular produce markets where traders outlined challenges.
Ceaseless showers our way, but getting closer to Gujungu in Jigawa State, the atmosphere took a turn. Booming could be the word to describe the mood in Gujungu market, but this word failed in explaining my imagination of the magnitude of exchange of goods for cash I saw. Those who cultivate the variety of produce here display their bravery off their farms. Gujungu market is located in Tau local government area here in Jigawa State. You might look at it as a local market, but it is actually an international market because Niger border is not far away from here, and people from Niger Republic bring their products here to sell on a market day like this one. I've seen a lot of things on sale here, animals, grains, and so on and so forth. But one major product that is at highest of it, the point of its sales, is hibiscus. You can see it being loaded into trucks like this one, and it's headed towards towns like Kano, and from there people say it goes even beyond the borders of this country. Stealing my attention was the loads and loads of hibiscus flower being ferried out of the market in trucks. It has been opined that Nigeria could fetch for itself about $100 million each year from exporting these much sought after produce. But attitude in the line of cultivating and processing these produce will damage the prospect.
There are some unscrupulous traders and farmers who mix the produce with wheat and add color for it to look like the hibiscus flower. That means they are sowing the seed of mistrust in the business. But if the flower is filtered well, then our business partners will trust us. We take time to remove all dirt and seed it properly before selling.
When setting out of the market, farms by the roads blooms with the cherished produce. This sending signals of a sparkling light end of the tunnel. In Abuja, Abdullah Muhammad, NTA News.
Well, aside the export value of that produce, the health benefits are enormous. We take another break now. More to come. Do stay with us. Welcome back. For months now, vehicular movements, especially inbound Lagos on 3rd Mainland Bridge, has been an unpleasant experience for road users due to the bad portions on the bridge causing gridlock, especially when there's a downpour. Joel Popola reports that motorists are yearning for palliative repairs to mitigate the impact of potholes on their vehicles.
The 3rd Mainland Bridge is one of the fastest routes to connect Lagos Island from the mainland. The increasing number of potholes, particularly at the Woronshoki section of the bridge, which is worsened by a series of intermittent rainfall, is becoming worrisome.
Every time we always have an hold up, not to cause the hold up, it's only the pothole. And if this thing is being solved, I think we're going to enjoy the better road. So they should work on it. Very bad.
They're supposed to be checking it from time to time, those that have done it. You understand? So that they can repair, because it affects the car. Sometimes the rain will fall and there will be floods.
I left at work this morning around at 9 o'clock. Then I was heading towards the VI side. And we have to spend close to like 1.5 hours right here just because of the little rainfall and the hold up, the itch that is going on, the pothole on the main bridge.
The Woronshoki section is fast becoming a bottleneck, especially during rush hours, thereby causing accidents and breakdown of vehicles. Driving along this route on 3rd Mainland Bridge here at the Iyanowuru section, inbound Lagos Island has always been an harrowing experience for motorists due to the deplorable state of the road. Motorists are calling on relevant authorities to do the needful for them to have a jolly good ride.
That the ministry has awarded the asphalt overlay of all the failed sections to a contractor. We're looking into it to mobilize the contractor so that he can move back to site. But pending when we're ready to do that, the Lagos State government is determined to intervene by way of providing palliatives, just blocking those potholes.
Motorists are hoping the repairs will be done as soon as possible to prevent further damage. In Lagos, Joel Bukbola, NTA News.
Now let's shift our attention to health matters. In the midst of the most severe diphtheria outbreaks in recent global history, UNICEF Nigeria is sounding the alarm about the urgent need for widespread vaccination. Data by UNICEF indicates that diphtheria outbreak in Nigeria so far resulted in over 11,500 suspected cases, more than 7,000 confirmed cases, and claimed 453 lives, mostly children. In a statement by UNICEF's representative, Dr. Ronak Khan, most children affected are between the ages of 4 to 15 who have not received a single dose of the vital vaccine, explaining the need for vaccination in Nigeria. UNICEF says it is providing urgent support to the Nigerian government to combat the outbreak through procurement of vaccines. The Children's Agency adds that it has deployed 9.3 million doses of diphtheria vaccines to affected states, including Kano, Bauchi, Borno, Yobe, Katsina, Kaduna, and Jigawa. Another 4 million doses are being procured to be handed over to the government in the coming weeks. UNICEF Nigeria urges partners, stakeholders, and the international community to work together to ensure that every child in Nigeria is reached with life-saving vaccines. Let's take our last break. We'll be right back. Up next is Sports Update. And the death has been announced of Madam Martha Yakubu Damboy of Zakwa Kafanchan, Kaduna State. She was aged 90. Mama Martha Yakubu Damboy was a disciplinarian, successful businesswoman, and community leader who impacted greatly on her community and immediate family. She will be buried on Friday, 29th of September 2023. Mama Martha is survived by many children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. Amongst them is Joel Damboy of the NNPC Limited. And that's News Extra today. Thank you so much for your time. I am Elizabeth Omori. Remain patriotic.